For those that don't know, my name is Brandon Cobb. This is Alex Sadoff, my partner. Alex, say what's up to your fans.
What up, what up, what up, people?
Yeah, so I'm the co-founder of HBG Capital, a real estate investment firm that turns land into new housing communities right here in Nashville, Tennessee. I primarily raise the capital for all of our deals, do the hiring, the underwriting. Partner here, I joke that I don't like to get dirt underneath my fingernails. Like I got nice, pretty fingernails. They don't belong out in the field. Alex, on the other hand, different story. He likes getting his hands dirty. He manages all the civil engineers, the sales, acquisitions of all of our land. He's the guy going out and actually meeting the city, the planning, showing up, facing the company to get these new communities approved. So there's a two-part system here to turning land into new housing communities. And today I'm going to share my side of things, which is how to raise capital from accredited investors. Today is a 1-part and a 6-part training series. And today we're going to be talking about how to attract endless accredited investors. So there's really 6 parts to doing land development. And next week we're going to be starting all over again, like how to find and target the right land. The week afterwards, we're going to be going over land due diligence, like, hey, is it a deal? Is it a pencil? The week 3, we're going to be talking about how to design community and managing that civil engineering process. Week 4, we're going to talk about like the foundation you need to start raising money, the mistakes people made. They just go out and start trying to raise money without building a solid foundation first, which is a big mistake. And then next week, we'll talk about where people usually start, which is raising from friends and family, the low-hanging fruit. And then today, we're going to get a little bit more advanced. We're going to talk about usually after people raise a few $1,000,000 from their friends and family, they cap out and they need to figure out how to raise money from accredited investors, people, aka people that they don't know, people that don't know who they are. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we jump into this, what we realize is a lot of people aren't exactly sure what land development is, or might have an idea that is that something else. So there's 2 types of exits when it comes to land development. There's 2 types of deals.
Coming straight from Canva.
Deal number 1
This is from my
is you
computer.
just find a piece of raw
This is
dirt,
the
like
actual
you see
Zoom
up here
call.
at the top left, and you get it approved for the community. So you can kind of see here, the land has been approved for the community, and you can just sell that paper. So you can literally put a piece of land under contract, get it approved, and then you can just assign it or double close it to a developer or builder that wants to go and build and develop on the land. And so this is great if you haven't raised millions of dollars, or you're not sure you're taking the steps and you just want to do some profitable land entitlement deals. You don't do that. The second is when you get the development approved, you actually do the development. So this is where you see the bulldozers out pushing the dirt and neighborhoods going up. You can see right here in the bottom right.
It's where you get the dirt on your fingernails.
That is where you get the dirt underneath your fingernails. Which I don't like. So this is where you're going in and you're adding value to the land through the utilities. And what I love about this business model is there's 2 value add strategies. So when you are, let's say, flipping a house, there's really one thing you can do to add value, and that's renovate the home. When you're building a home, there's only one thing you can do to add value, and that's build a house. When you're doing apartment complexes, there's really only one thing you can do to add value, that's renovate the units and increase. And maybe there's some opportunities to like get the expenses under control. I love this because you can force appreciate the value of the land before you actually buy it. And so you're walking into a bunch of equity on day 1. But those are the 2 types of deals that you can do. You can sell the paper, or you can actually develop the lots and sell those lots to a builder that wants to build. So what does this look like? Let's give you an example of what a paper lot deal looks like. This is a deal we did with a partner. She brought the deal to the table. We helped her get it to the finish line. So we funded all the civil engineering. The profits with her on this deal. This was 42 townhomes that we got approved. We sold it to a local builder and we split $446,000 of profit, and this all happened in less than 12 months. Here's an example of a deal that we did where we did the development. So we got the bulldozers out, we pushed the lands. You can see we put the roads in right here, we put the utilities, and I think this was I think we did 74 homes over here. And we walked away with about $1.2 million of profit on this deal. This was the Cottages Carriage Way deal that we did. So we've done both of these types of deals. They both work, and the market is in a prime position to really benefit from this type right now. Like, builders can't buy enough lots. We've got an affordable housing crisis. Like I said, this training series is designed to build on each other. Last week, we talked about the number one capital raising mistake and how to avoid it with friends and family. We talked about how to get friends and family asking to invest. So rather than, you having to reach out to them, them reaching out to you. We talked about the exact email and text scripts on what to say. We talked about how to not come across as you're out there reaching out to people. We talked about the do's and don'ts. You have a deal and you're pitching. And we talked about the number one rule we must follow. So if you didn't catch that training, definitely attend the next one, because you want to make sure you do not break the number one rule. Here's what we're going to be talking about today. Endless accredited investors. So if you've run out of friends and family, this is the next step. I'm going to talk about how I've been able to raise over $15 million, the journey that every capital raiser takes. We're going to talk about what is an accredited investor. We're talking about identifying your target avatar, attracting the investors to your content. We're going to talk about setting your deal like a movie, and most importantly, how to create curiosity and anticipation around your deal, and then creating the scarcity that makes people want to actually pull the trigger. Our whole goal of this training series is we want to build a community of people, of visionaries that want to turn land into new housing communities. My partner and I were searching for a community online of other developers, and we could not find it. And there's a lot of value when you bring like-minded people together, people in the same business, people that have the same problems, people that share the same successes. You can really create something awesome where everybody is giving back and sharing and giving each other feedback on their deals and helping people who haven't done a deal before. And so our goal, and the reason we do this training series, is to create a community of visionaries that want to develop new communities in their area. Disclaimer. So we're going to be talking about how to raise money today. The Securities and Exchange takes raising capital very seriously. There are laws in place that you need to follow. I'm not an attorney. You should only listen to the advice of an attorney before raising any capital. Nothing that I say in this is going to constitute as tax, legal, insurance, or any advice. This presentation is for information purposes only. Always consult an attorney before you go out and raise money so that you can make sure that you are compliant. I can't stress that enough. All right, do me a favor, post your questions in the Q&A. So there should be a little button down at the bottom, question and answer. I don't think the chat button works for some reason. We're on this webinar presentation, so put it in the Q&A. And then once we get to the end of the presentation, we will make sure to answer all of your questions that you got. Before we get started, I want to ask you, what would you do
with an extra $5 million?
You had
somebody that could give you an extra
$5 million to use in your business. What would you do? How would that affect your business? What kind of real estate deals would you be able to do with additional $5 million? I'm not talking about additional $5 million of debt. I'm talking about if you have $5 million in the bank account as equity, how much would a lender give you on top of that $5 million? What effect would that have on your personal life? Would you be able to take more vacations? Would you be able to do some bigger real estate deals? Because this is exactly what happened to me. I'll share my story with you here in just a second. But my background years ago, if you told me we'd be inventing these new housing communities, I looked at you like you had eight heads. Unlike a lot of people who have a story where they're in corporate for 20 years, they hated what they were doing. I don't have that story. My dream was to get into medical device sales. And it took me 3 years to do, but I finally broke in, and I loved what I did. Being able to show up to the hospital every single day, surgery, helping patients make a difference in their life, rubbing shoulders with orthopedic surgeons. Didn't wear scrubs every single day. I thought I was the coolest 25-year-old on the block.
You still think you're the coolest 25?
Though I'm kind of humbled myself a little bit. It's not that I say it, it's just people tell me that all the time. That makes me think.
Right.
But I showed up, one Friday afternoon at Starbucks over in West End, excited to give my boss the good news of this awesome trial that I had with my equipment. And he fired me. I learned that day that I didn't have a job. And the life lesson, well, first off, I was completely shocked because I love what I did, the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into that role. Like, all I wanted to do was make my boss happy and make money. And, you know, and anybody who's ever lost a job before, especially your dream job, you know, it's not just like losing a job. Your identity's wrapped up in it. And so I wasn't just losing my job that day, I was losing my sense of identity. And that's what started this self-exploration journey of entrepreneurship. And I learned that nobody was going to look out for my financial well-being but me. You could be as loyal as you want to a company, put the blood, sweat, and tears, everything into the job. And at the end of the day, you're just a number to that company. And unfortunately, for whatever reason that day, that company decided to let me go. So I gave myself a 6-month ultimatum to make some money by myself, or I would just go back and get a job. So you can see right here in this first picture, this is actually me doing my very first house flip. I sold all of my retirement accounts, paid all the penalties to buy this house cash. And this is me on like my 6th Home Depot run for the day. Look how cool I think I am. I'm taking a selfie of all my Home Depot materials in the car. Fast forward a couple years, top right, I'm now building houses. So we went and got our own general contractor's license, trying to be vertically integrated. So I'm building houses. And then, down here, you can see I'm reading blueprints. You look at that blueprint, that's a 74 community. So we're developing 74 lots for a builder here. So I tell you this, the reason I tell you this is I was not born with the skills to create new communities. You can do it too. If somebody in medical device sales that's apparently not good enough to keep his job can figure out how to turn land into new housing communities, I promise you that you can too. There's a natural progression of 8 years here. My goal is to take those 8 years and condense it down into 1 or 2 years for you, so that you don't have to go through all of the headache that I did. And I want to tell you about a very special vehicle that changed my life that I discovered. So we're going to be talking about this concept of a syndication today. And a syndication is something where investors pull their money together to buy buildings that they wouldn't individually. The best metaphor that I know to describe syndication is an airplane. No individual person,
Sure,
Elon Musk,
can afford to take the airplane where they want to go. But everybody can purchase an individual ticket to get a seat, and together they pull their money together to get to where they want to go. An airplane, it's a trip somewhere. Here, it's they're all buying a ticket to financial freedom. And this was a very powerful vehicle because when we were building houses, we had, raised, maybe $4 million. And the problem that we had was we were raising money dollar for dollar.
So if we were building $4 million worth of houses, I need to go find $4 million from investors, because we learned very quickly that using hard money loans or using banks, that monthly interest payment was expensive. By raising money from private investors, we didn't have any interest payments on those loans. We told them, hey, we can pay you, double digits on your money, but you need to take it on the back end. So we effectively could build $4 or $5 million of houses with $0 monthly interest payments. And this is what really helped our business grow at the beginning stages, was not having cash flow issue of these enormous monthly payments. When we discovered the concept of syndication, I turned that debt from investors into equity. So if anybody's familiar with the difference between debt and equity, debt, you go to the bank, they see $4 or $5 million of debt on your balance sheet. Less likely to give you money. They see $4 million of cash equity. They'll give you $15 million. And that's exactly what happened to us. When I discovered this model where I can take that debt, go to investors and say, hey, I got great news. We're going to continue doing the same deals we're doing with you. But instead of this being a debt position and us paying you 10%, we're going to make you equity investors, partners in the deal. We're gonna give you 18%. How's that sound? Well, things really blew up after that point. We literally woke up one night and had access to $15 million of bank debt in order to do this. And we had the equity so that we could raise the money and set aside some money to make the interest payments. So this completely changed our life. Today, we're going to be talking about accredited investors, but this is the journey that every capital raiser goes on. They start out with friends and family, then move to accredited investors, and then once they run that, they
usually
start
partnering with people.
They start their own fund, they network with people with other funds, they pull their funds together, AKA a fund of funds model, in order to do bigger and bigger deals. So this is the path that every capital raiser takes. And so today we're going to be talking about how we raise money. So what is the vehicle that I was just describing? This is called a 506C syndication, and it's for accredited investors. The SEC has allowed certain laws to allow people to raise money, but you have to follow the rules. So the rule we're going to follow is a 506C syndication raising accredited investors. So what are the benefits and needs of a 506C syndication? So you don't need to have a prior relationship. So this is different than we talked about last week. Last week, we talked about a 506B syndication where you can raise from friends and family, AKA you have a prior relationship with the person. Here, you don't need that, but they must be accredited, which means they must qualify to be an accredited investor. So you can go look up the qualifications for being an accredited investor. I think you got to have a minimum income the last 2 years of $200,000 minimum, or a minimum net worth of $1 million minus your single family residence. It's very simple and straightforward, but you can go look that up. And there's ways of verifying this. There's third-party companies you can use if you decide to go this route. But the cool thing is you can actually advertise your deals. So if you've ever seen a deal being advertised on Facebook or Instagram, it's a 506C because they're advertising it. So this is a way of you being able to get things out. Now, luckily today, I'm not even going to be talking about advertising. We're going to be talking about how to do this without spending loads and loads of money. And step one, it starts with identifying your target avatar. So you can see we got a lot of different professions over here. We got doctors, we got nurses, we got painters, we got chef's hat. Why do I show you all these different professions today? Because if you're going to go raise money, you have to have a target avatar. You've got to be able to stand out. There has to be a certain customer that you're going after. And so this is going to make a little bit more sense when I explain this beautiful restaurant in the trip. Let me ask you a question. Where would you rather eat if you're in the mood for steak? So you're driving down the road and you see this one restaurant, and it says, we got the best steak, fried chicken, pizza, sandwiches. We got the best onion rings. I think there's like a pickle back here. This is a Bloody Mary. They basically say, hey, we do everything, including steak. Come eat here. And you keep driving down the road until you see restaurant B. And all it says is world's best steakhouse. Which one are you more likely to eat at if you're in the mood for steak? Probably the restaurant that specializes in steak, because restaurant A is a jack of all trades, master of none. This is the big mistake that people make when they start raising money from accredited investors, is they don't have a target avatar. And the reason this hurts is because you can't cut through the noise. People's attention is the new oil. If you can figure out how to get people's attention and add value, you will make money in this day and age. And the problem is, I see people put content out there that says like helping busy professionals reach financial freedom through real estate, or helping real estate investors reach financial freedom through real estate. Nobody identifies with that lexicon. But when people see content, something that speaks to them, helping doctors not trade their time for money in their practice. And you're a doctor and you see that, that's going to catch your attention. It's going to stand out. And so we're going to talk about this today. Here's some examples. So I'm down here at the bottom right. You can see right underneath my name, reliable real estate income for 7-figure business. Let's see, Justin Ryder up here. I help owners and occupants of Kentucky commercial properties and businesses maximize value. Nick Strongwell up here, top left. I help faith-driven leaders multiply their money and invest in alternative assets. Justin Welsh, helping 100,000 plus solopreneurs build a fulfilling life through lean, profitable one-person businesses. Notice how none of these people say, I help busy professionals or I help moms. You have to niche down.
So it's gotta be targeted.
It's gotta be targeted. You've gotta niche down and really focus on who it is that you're going after. And I'll give you. Yeah, what's up? There's a bar at the bottom of the screen.
What phone are you sharing?
This one.
Take that a full mode?
Take it out of full mode. Yep. All right, 1 second. And then what? Present full screen.
Still there? It's still there. Okay. I don't know where to get it.
So,
It's okay.
Is it messing up the presentation?
It's just at the bottom of the screen. I'll just show you what it looks like.
That's weird. I don't know why that's there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the show continues.
Yep.
So
The whole,
here's
here's a little hint on how to identify your target avatar. Think about
who you relate to most. So if you've got a background as a real estate agent, maybe real estate agents are you need to focus on because you can speak to their pain, you know what it's like, and you have immediate rapport when you start having conversations with people. When I first started, I'll tell you the biggest mistake that I made. I should have branded our capital raising stuff for medical device sales reps. That was my background, and I could have really connected with a lot of people and been very niche and very specific on who we were going after. But I didn't do that, and that's why I share this with you today. Is don't make the mistake that I did. So that's step number 1: is you need to identify your target. Step number 2.
Yeah, hold on. So if your dad and your mom were surgeons, you've been surrounded by surgeons your whole life, you probably not, would you be going looking for like pizza delivery guys or surgeons?
Yeah, whoever you can relate to most, whoever that you think you can have that immediate rapport with, looking at your background and who you're going to be able to connect with is
Being authentic.
part of it. Yeah, it's all about being authentic. This is not meant to be scammy or inauthentic, quite the opposite. Like you're looking for people you can genuinely help and connect with.
you know,
have people in my advice that that's from us because they just connect with my story and they like the fact that I came from medical device sales and I'm now doing real estate and they want to do that. They're like, oh, I'm in medical device sales. I want to do real estate. Brandon's done it. And so I'm able to stand out from other people that they're looking at because I've got that connection, got a shared background. And a lot of my content, I work with a lot of business owners now, but a lot of my content speaks to that element. And if you've got a background as a real estate agent, you know what all the pain points are. And this is what transitions into what I'm going to talk about is the best content wins. So in order to attract people that you don't know, that don't know you, we're going to start producing content. You're going to have to start producing media. I took a screenshot here of a couple posts of mine, so you can see right here. We had there was a lot of impressions, made comments on this post. This is what allows me to start conversations. When we get these comments, right? People commenting on the post, people liking, loving, and emojing this thing. That's permission to reach out to them. So every person that likes, comments on a post, that is no longer a cold person. They have engaged with you. And so what I do is I just simply reach out. So you can see this Nicholas guy here. Hey, Nicholas, it's great connecting with you. I see you live in the most beautiful part of the U.S. What prompted you to connect? Hey, Brandon, I liked your content and plan.
future capital investments.
Boom. I'm now having a conversation with somebody that likes my content and wants to invest in the future at some point. Now I can now steer this person to having a one-on-one Zoom call with me where I can then take it to the next step. So this is how to create real conversations with real people that want to give you money. And again, number one rule is the best content wins. Step number 3 is the Dream
The Dream
100 strategy.
strategy.
We're going to be producing content towards towards our target avatar. We want to get it in front of as many eyeballs as humanly possible. This Dream 100 strategy, what I love about it is, so I promise you in 100 years, Facebook ads are probably not going to work. Probably not going to be a Facebook. It's probably not going to be a Google anymore. So a lot of these lead generation strategies, they come and go based on time. This will never go out of style. The Dream 100 strategy is you sitting down and writing out the top 100 people that have your audience. So, Tony Robbins, for example, I noticed that he did this Time to Rise Summit thing in January. It was a big event. He was going on podcasts that had a lot of business owner eyeballs because that's who he wanted to get in front of. He wanted to get in front of business owners. So he started going on podcasts that had a large business owner
Audience.
Whenever you watch a late night talk show, it's the same thing. If someone that's going on that show, a lot of times, like a movie or something that upcoming comedy release on Netflix, they are getting in front of somebody else's audience. So you're gonna, once you have your target avatar, doctors, nurses, whoever, you're gonna write down 100 people that have your target audience. And you're going to make an effort to get on their show. I'm going to tell you more about this in a second. But this is the Dream 100 strategy. It's completely timeless. You are going to convert their traffic, watches their show, into your own traffic by capturing their contact information. I'm going to show you exactly how this works. The reason this method is so powerful is you are using leverage. So if you have 100 people, let's say they have an audience of 6,000 people. That's 600,000 people that you're in front of. This is a numbers game. Okay. And if you can just convert, 1% of 6,000, what is that, 60 people? Convert 60 people to give you $100,000. That's $6 million. You go to a bank, put down $6 million. They'll get, what is the bank for $6 million? $20 million any day. You can raise a lot of money by doing that. So this works in time. Step 3 is you're going to start your own podcast, and you're going to make this fun, and you're going to, again, produce content towards your target audience. We've got our own podcast called Recession Resistant Real Estate Radio, where we have guests on. We talk about real estate. We talk about entrepreneurship. We talk about financial freedom, and we have a lot of fun doing it. We have a lot of guests that come on the show, and they deliver value towards the target avatar that we are creating content for. Why start your own podcast? Number one, it establishes you as an authority figure and credibility. We talked about building the foundations a few weeks ago. People are going to Google who you are. And when you have a podcast, you're an authority figure on the subject, people are going to give you money. It also helps with your personal branding and connection. People want to work with people. They don't want to work with companies. People don't want to invest with companies. They want to invest with people. So you are going to be the personal brand of your capital raising company. So it's very important that you have something that people can listen to where they can get to know you. They can hear your story. They can get to know your personality and the quirks, the things that make you who you are, because that's what's going to allow people to connect with you that will ultimately prompt a conversation where they say, hey, Brandon, I want to give you money. I know you like all your content. Obviously, you know what you're doing. So huge benefit on the personal branding and connection. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of increased visibility, right? You get your own podcast, producing content out there, like, YouTube, Google, there's some love. It also allows you to build a network. So when you're having all these guests on your podcasts, it allows you to build a network of very skilled vendors so that you're able to help people. This is a whoever provides the most value to the person is going to win. Right? Think about the last time you bought a product. it was probably somebody who had the most education or the best video or the best sales process. They created more value than anybody else, and that's why you bought the product. I have people that come
me that aren't even ready to give me money, but they have a problem that I can't solve. And I'm able to refer them to somebody in my network to solve their problem. And they remember that. And that's me giving them value. And I can't tell you how many times it's come back tenfold just because I have a podcast and I'm building that network because I'm having guests on. Number 5, let's talk about this. This is one that's not talked about enough. I had somebody on the podcast. He was up there. He was, pretty he's semi-famous. He's pretty big in the space. And I tried multiple times to like reach out to him for advice on something that I was doing, and he would not take any of my calls or answer any of my emails. I just wanted 3-4 minutes of his time. He would not give it to me. And then years later, I started a podcast and I invited him on the show and he said, "Yeah, would love to." What he was excited about it, and it clicked. I couldn't get 3 or 4 minutes of this person's time, to get some advice, but he would sit down for a 45-minute conversation with me where I could ask him anything that I wanted. It's so funny. I've reached out to people that wanted to charge me 400 or $500 an hour for their time on advice, but then changed the script and said, "Hey, how about come on the show and we'll do a whole episode. We'll promote your company. I want to hear your story. Let's talk about your business." And they would do the 45 minutes for free. And it would allow me the opportunity to connect with them. So this is a huge tool that you need to use if you're not using it. So we're going to be starting our own podcast. Next, this is not step 2, it's like step 4, but we're going to create valuable content for the avatar. So we did a podcast episode where we talked about self-directed IRAs and how you can convert a 401k into a self-directed account to invest in real estate. And I got this email from this person. She said, "Hi, Brandon. My name is blank. I caught the video you presented a while back with the expert panel. I was very interested to listen to each panelist outline exactly what part they play in the big picture of real estate investing. I've been wanting to invest, but wasn't exactly sure how to get started. I had no idea you could invest money from retirement accounts into real estate transactions. Since watching your video, I contacted Specialized Trust Company and completed the conversion of my second self-directed account. I would have never thought to do that had I not seen your video. Now I understand more of the process. I'd love to connect with you to learn more about private lending and how to pursue that opportunity. If you have time available for a call, maybe this week or next, I'd love to chat. Thank you." This person ended up giving me $500,000. I never even met him. That's crazy, y'all. That's the power of producing content that is really good. Again, the number one rule is the best content wins. So, how do you reach out to people? Well, this is the email that you're going to use. So I'm not going to go into the specifics, but it's very, very simple. You start and say, "Hey, left you a review." Podcast reviews are extremely valuable. People want the podcast reviews. So start out with that and then highlight some of your talking points and a little bit of your story. And you can give them some links on some other stuff that you've done. Make it very simple, but again, add value to them before reaching out by leaving them a podcast review. Next is you're going to create a lead magnet. What the heck is a lead magnet? Well, this is something of value that you're going to give in exchange for an email address. So we give people our 100 questions business owners ask before investing ebook. And if you want our free lead magnet so that you can see an example of how this works, just text your email to 901-596-6425. Just put your email, send to that phone number. Stuff was going to spam when we had emails. We want to make sure we get it. So if you text your email to that phone number, I'll send you our free lead magnet example, and you can see what that looks like. All right. Step 5 is you need to create a video sales letter. I'm not going to spend time breaking down a video sales letter. We could spend hours talking about this, but if you want to go to our website, it's hbgcapital.net/waitlist. I don't think the website is on this page, it looks like, but we can put, Terry, if you want to put that in the chat so that people have an example where to go. It's hbgcapital.net/waitlist. You can see an example of what a video sales letter is. You can get one of these made for maybe $400 or $500, and it will explain your strategy. And I promise you, you will have a lot more conversions if you actually spend the time to create a VSL that outlines your company, your investment strategy, your past deals, the stuff that you've done. Now, once you create your VSL and you've got your good content, you're going to be having people start to book calls with you. You're going to be having people reach out on LinkedIn asking for your time. Hey, I've got some money. Let's talk. This is the sales process that you're going to follow. So, one, without getting too into the nitty gritty, you're going to frame the agenda. So let them know what's going to be discussed and take control of the conversation. Hey, look, I've got about 30 minutes outlined for us here. I'm excited to jump in with you today. Typically on these calls, we go over your past investment experience. If you've done real estate before, then we share some of what we do, who we're a good fit for. And at the end, we'll leave some time for some questions. Other than that, was there anything specific that you wanted to get out of this call? You are the prize. Frame the agenda, let them know what will be discussed. If they immediately hop in and start asking questions, don't let them start asking questions. Take back control and let them know how the conversation is going to go. One of the first things I like to ask them is, why me? Why now? This is very powerful. If you ask them why me, why now, they then have to sell themselves on why they booked a call with you. And it's really easy to transition into the rest of the sales process. So you want to understand who they are, get their background, what they do, their experience investing. And most importantly, where are they wanting to go? Why are they hopping on a call with you? What exactly is it? Where are they trying to go? So you want to crystallize this vision for them. And then the reality, where are they right now in relation to their goal? Where's the money right now? What roadblocks are getting in the way? Is it an education piece? If they've never done this before, is there a specific type of investment that they're looking for? You're wanting to identify those roadblocks so that you can start to remove them. And then you're going to start positioning your product and service and solution. So the benefits of working with you, how do those solve those roadblocks and those pain points that they've got? And finally, you're going to tell them, hey, here's how we can solve your problem, and then enroll them. Ask them what they want to do and ask for the referral. I promise you, if you follow this sales process, you will convert millions of dollars.
That sales process is worth like $100,000 by itself. If you didn't get anything, screenshot that.
Yeah.
Make
This
sure
this
that
by itself.
this step 6 is crucial. There's you once you know why people chose you, once you understand what their story is, what their pain points are, you don't want to start offering them a solution to a problem that may not be a problem. So when you go to the doctor, they have to examine you. You're like, yes, my toe hurts. They're not going to start giving you, blood pressure medicine just because your toe hurts. They're going to assess the situation, and then they're going to be able to say, hey, this is what I think that we can do here. Or sometimes let's say, hey, I may not be the right fit. Let me refer you to elsewhere. So and some folks may think, oh man, that may be I lost that lead. But like Brandon was saying, sometimes when he doesn't have the solution, he refers somebody that solidifies your subject matter expertise and your professionalism to say, hey, I'm not the right fit here, right? Your general practitioner, when you go to see a doctor because you got a sore throat, is not going to go and do open heart surgery because they're not the right person for the right job. So that's kind of this sales process will help you identify what that is and really provide the best value for that person because you want to create genuine
Yeah.
relationship with that
People
person.
don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
That's right.
It's the exact same doctor patient. Like when you go to the doctor doesn't spend 20 minutes getting to know you. It's like straight to the point. Okay, what's the problem? And he's diagnosing you. If you just walked into the doctor's office and said, oh, my back hurts, and he said, okay, let's just write you a prescription, you'd probably question that a little bit.
Right.
Like, what's like he didn't take the time to listen to my needs or my pain points and really understand what was wrong. So that's going to be a red flag. So that's what this is. You've got to know what the pain points are and what they really need to be able to help them.
That's right.
This is a slide from the previous presentations. We're not going to go over that. Terrible edit this one out, part of it. Step 7. So now you've built your list of accredited investors. you've got buy-in, you've had your sales calls, you finally have a deal. The biggest mistake I see people make when it comes to raising money for the deals is they don't treat it like a movie. They just throw the deal out there and hope for some feedback. Not how this works. You got to get people excited. People make emotional decisions, they don't make rational decisions. So you have got to start stirring up the emotions. This is where movie stars go on talk shows to promote the movie. You've got trailers, you've got red carpet events. Like there is a lot that goes into releasing a movie up to a year before the movie's released, and you want to do the same. Not in a year, but in a few days. So let's talk about how to do that exactly. So when you got a deal, you don't just release it. You got to build anticipation. So day one, you have an email, you want to get them excited. We've been patiently waiting on the sidelines for an opportunity that we're excited to announce, and we've got one. Guys, 10 Main Street will be our firm's first new acquisition. The webinar will take place Friday, March 6th. Click here to register. As you may have already heard, the seller's in their 80s. They're retiring from real estate. He's ready to hang up that and enjoy retirement. So he's very motivated to sell this property. Over the next 3 days, you'll receive some of the top highlights that get us most excited. Today's highlight is the value add strategy. We're going to increase the property's value by doubling the rents. Yes, you heard that right. To force appreciate the value of the property, you got to raise rents. And this usually involves renovating the units, but no, rents have not been raised in 8 years. Market rate rents show we can easily double rents. We'll show you that Friday, March 8th, 6 p.m. how to do that. Why we love this deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some really compelling reasons to see this opportunity. You must register. So take a second and do that. Day two. Hey, as we mentioned yesterday, HBG Capital is excited to announce our newest acquisition opportunity. We've been patiently waiting for an opportunity, and we finally have one. The webinar will take place at this time. Yesterday, we talked about how the seller is retiring. The rents have not been raised. Today, I'm sharing another reason we're excited about this deal. We don't have to go to a bank. We were able to negotiate a 4.5% interest rate with the seller to finance this deal. We'll be raising funds for the down payment and repairs to force appreciate the value of the property. You can't even go to a bank right now and get an interest rate near that amount. Also, it's fixed rate debt, so the interest rate cannot move on us. Why we love this deal? We got these 5 reasons, and the most important, the 5th and most exciting, will be shared during the release Friday. So to see this opportunity, take a second, register, and do that now. Day 3, we use the exact same script. We're talking about the 4th reason we love it, the location. The property is located smack dab in the middle of downtown Clarksville, Tennessee, a suburb of Nashville we know well. It's located in the Riverwalk area, walking distance to the brand new F&M Entertainment Arena in downtown Clarksville and Riverview Square development. If you don't already know, the Riverwalk area downtown is already seeing massive development. The city wants the whole area to be transformed over the coming years. There'll be lots of newly added foot traffic around this property, increasing the value from the surrounding developments. Why we love this deal. 5th and most exciting reason shared during the event. To see this opportunity, you must register your email. So take a second and do that. Also, on the call, on the webinar, here are a few things we'll be covering. Strategic advantages created by the team, downside protection, upside potential. The combination of downside protection as well as upside potential makes this opportunity very compelling from our perspective. Of course, there are many more details in which we'll discuss in the upcoming release, so make sure you check that out. Day 4. All right. It is the release day. Tonight, we'll be releasing our new opportunity. Here's all the reasons that we love it. The 5th and most exciting reason we're going to share during the release. To see this opportunity, you must register. Here's where some of the magic starts. Given that we've received so much interest in the offering already, we wanted to ensure that many of our investors are registered to attend the upcoming webinar and have the opportunity to get their questions answered. Here are a few things we'll be covering on the webinar. The downside protection, upside potential, and the strategic advantages. We'll see you tonight. And then we got the 1 hour reminder. It's release day. Hey, 1 hour reminder. And then boom, the big release. Here's how to watch the presentation. Next is pitching your deal. Pitching mistakes. So the biggest problem I see people make is they talk too fast and they wing it. Do not pitch your deal you're trying to raise hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars for the first time on the call. If you've not practiced this 10, 15, 20 times, you are making a huge mistake. You need to convert people. This is your big time to shine. This is your movie release. Don't blow it. So don't talk too fast. Don't wing it. Don't use industry jargon and don't say it's guaranteed. Even highlight some of the risks in there. Make sure that you are pitching yourself, that you make it simple. Obviously, make it very professional. Don't look cheap. Practice, 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 and make it so a third grader can understand it. Number one mistake, make it simple. A confused mind does not make decisions. Here at HBG Capital, we take premium off market land deals, we get it approved for development, we develop it, and we sell it to a builder. That's it. Third grader could understand it. Next is you want to have the replay. So next day, make sure you send out the replay. First of all, thank you to everyone who attended last night's release to discuss our new offering. For those who were able to attend or who would like to review the webinar again, you can access the recording. Click here. Here are the next steps. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, the funding timeline is March 20th. If you have any interest, send your soft commitment so we can update you. This is where we start to create scarcity. So thank you very much for those who acted quickly and have already submitted your committed investment amount for 10 Main Street. Due to the response from our investors, we've already received 48% of the total investment and now anticipate the opportunity to be oversubscribed prior to the verbal commitment deadline. If you are interested in reserving an investment amount for this investment, please follow these steps. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. Please note reservations will be accepted on a first come, first served basis. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. Next progress upgrade, 72% subscribe. Due to the response from our investors, we've already received 72% of the total investment and now anticipate the opportunity will be oversubscribed prior to the verbal commitment deadline. As a reminder, the verbal commitment deadline is March 20th and the funding date is April 1st. If you have interest, follow these steps. Please note, reservations will be accepted on a first come, first served basis. If you have any questions, let us know. And then finally, oversubscribe. Hey guys, we did it. Thank you so much for everyone who moved forward. The response has been a bit overwhelming, but it's very inspiring to see investors share our excitement for this unique opportunity. The opportunity is now oversubscribed. We are taking backup commitments on a wait list, but it is likely that we will not be able to include investors who are not ready, who are not already on the list. Here's the next steps. If you want to get on the wait list, if you were hoping to invest in this deal but didn't get the opportunity to do so, please reach out so that we can contact you prior to sending out our next opportunity. We're always working to include new investors in our group and would love to accommodate you in the future. Thank you again for everyone who reserved your investment amount. We look forward to watching this investment perform. And if you follow this process, I promise you that you can turn land into new housing opportunities like the cottage secured way deal that we've got right here. So guys, we're going to be launching our own land development mastermind. Again, we're creating a community around this. It's going to have a ton of stuff involved in it. There's a wait list for it right now. Just to give you some highlights, a few of the things we're going to have our land development accelerator program. There's going to be the capital raising machine portion of it. There's going to be a mastermind community that's involved as well. We were trying to figure out okay, how much would we charge, for this community if we just broke down all the individual pieces of it and just charged for individual pieces. And we're like, okay, I think the business systems and processes are worth probably 10 grand. The land acquisition blueprint, we're going to be releasing maybe $1,000. The sales training, the entitlement, the civil engineering guide, the deal structure guide, all the contracts and documents. We thought just for the land development accelerator stuff, we'd probably charge somewhere around $27,000 because it's worth it if we can do deals where you can make, 500 to $1 million. Learning how to raise capital. We thought, okay, to be compliant, stay out of jail. That's really priceless, but maybe $1,800. The foundation's deep dive training, the CRM systems, the complete guide on how to raise from friends and family, guide on how to raise from accredited investors, all the sales scripts, the email templates, how to structure your syndication and fund, the guide to keep your investors for life. We were thinking, okay, probably $30,000. I've actually paid a lot more for learning all this stuff with, other courses and stuff that I've taken. But we'd probably charge 30 grand. If we were to set up the mastermind community where we did the biweekly Q&A calls, the 24/7 access to the community, the weekly non-negotiable tasks, the implementation support, access to our internal systems. Honestly, it's kind of priceless. I can't even imagine what that would be worth to get your questions answered and condense 8 years down into 1 or 2 years. So we'd probably charge $57,000, but we're not going to do that. I think we're going to just charge $10,000 for everything. And again, this is for people that want to turn land into new housing communities and learn how to raise capital for their real estate deals. Again, there's a wait list right now. We're in the process of getting all this stuff built out. We're excited. So if you're interested in joining that wait list, you can send an email to the info@hbgcapital.net. And so with that, we'll turn it over to some questions. I know we've got a few more minutes. Terry, do we have any questions in the chat?
Okay, BG with a question here.
BG's
She's
got a question.
question.
We got a
Yeah,
bunch of people live in the office
here
here
too,
too, so.
So you said, with the 506C, you can post on Facebook about the deal, or typically, period, on none of the 506C or Raising with Friends and Family, you should not post about your deal.
Yeah, so she's
asking
asking about posting on Facebook. When can you do that? When you
not.
cannot. If it is a 506C syndication and you're raising from people you don't know, you can post on Facebook. You can advertise it. This is where you see ads. 506C syndication, it is free reign to advertise your deal, do whatever you want. 506B, no, you're not allowed to advertise. That is a no-no. You can only raise from your network and friends and family, which means you can't post your deal somewhere that people that don't know you can't see it. Good
You have to-
question.
It's pre-existing relationship, right?
Yeah. So if the SEC audits you and you do a 506B, not a 506C, and you can't prove that you had an existing relationship before they gave you money, you may go to jail. I don't know. Talk to your attorney.
Yeah, we're not.
But yeah, there's specific guidelines and compliance requirements. They can be found on the SEC's website. You can Google them. But we can tell you what we do, how we stay compliant. There's a lot to it, so you have to follow the rules. Don't want to mess with the government. So
Yeah, good question.
that is a great question.
I do got one question.
What has a question?
How do you determine like the returns, right? Like the investors, how much do you give back?
So-
How much do you pay profit as well? How do you split the?
Yeah, so Warren was asking, how do you
Determine how much the investors get and how much you split profit. So we spend hours talking about that in the guide to keeping your investors for life and the fund syndication structuring. We talk about that more in depth there. The short answer is it's whatever you think is fair. If you want to do a 50-50 split with them, you can do a 50-50 split with them. I can tell you if you're raising equity, they're going to want to make more than 15-16% on their money. If you're doing just straight debt positions, you can probably get away with,
And-
9, 10, 11,
And the reason for
12%.
that, it's like so for you guys to understand, for some of you, like this equity, debt, maybe like just really hard to understand. What it is you take someone's money, you make them a partner in your LLC, right? And then you take, so that debt, instead of the hard money loan that you have as a debt position and a lien on your property, now there's not a lien. So you take that $1 million, now it is equity, so it's actual just free and clear money that's not tied to the property, or there's not a lien on the property. And you can now leverage, right? You can take that 1 million, go to the bank and say, hey, I've got $1 million. Give me 3 million against this $1 million worth of cash, right? So now you convert that 1 million into $4 million. So if you give that person, let's just say 18% returns, but your bank debt is 9%, you essentially the total capital stack, right? The $1 million of equity plus let's say $3 or $4 million worth of debt at a lower interest rate now brought that interest rate for the total cost of money substantially lower, and the amount of money is a lot more. So just to kind of let you, so how much of that do you want to give the partner? It just depends on you, right? So how much do you want to buy the land for? You want to buy,
Yeah.
it's all
To simplify, you just look at how much money the investor's giving you. Look at how much profit's on the deal.
Yeah.
How do you want to split that profit up? if the profit you're gonna give to the investor is like a 3 or 4% return on their money, they're probably not gonna do that deal.
You want to
It's that simple. Just divide up the profit over time and see what is fair for everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
All right, we got a question on the chat. This one is from Frank Spitznagel. Is there a system or templates that you use on these, or did you make these from scratch? Are these drip campaigns scheduled to go out at a certain time?
Yeah, so all the email templates that you got, so we give those away, and there's more to it, like we have so many email templates that we send out. That was just one deal that we use for an example, but everything we do is automated. So one of the things that we have is, you know, you can see this complete guide, attract endless investors, and you've got the CRM system. Everything's automated. We use so many
Campaigns, it's all built out. And what we've got is just a copy and paste system. So all those email templates are built out ahead of time. We just hit a button. The ones that aren't, that we have to manually do, are the subscription amounts. So we don't send those out until we have 42% subscribe rate. We don't send the second one out until we have a 72% subscribe rate. But everything else is completely automated for our webinars and our capital raising efforts.
Yeah, and then you'll tweak that automation, right? Based on the deal, you'll tweak it so it just makes sense. But like the shell is definitely all automated.
Yeah, you just literally plug and play your deal's information in the templates and hit the automate button.
There's another question here from Marinella. I'm gonna skip Greg. I gotta come back to Greg's, but I feel like this one goes with that question. What software do you use for email campaigns and the 1-hour reminders?
Yeah.
We use Active Campaign. We like Active Campaign. There's a lot of different ones that you can use, but Active Campaign is what we use.
Cool. Greg Francis, I have a large entitlement deal that I just went in contract on to buy. I am looking to partner with a strategic capital partner. Do you guys partner? Who can I talk to about the deal and possibly partnering?
Yeah, just shoot a email to the info@hbgcapital.net and I'll connect you with our acquisitions team. We can take a look at it. Yeah, we do partnerships. We love partnerships. It just depends on the area and the type of deal. But yeah, we love partnerships. So shoot it to the bottom at the email at the bottom right there, and I'll connect you with our team.
All right. Oh, we have another question from PG.
So you get in your fund set up, and that's what's determined if you can raise from 506C versus 506B, or you're determining that going into your capital raising journey.
Okay, so
So
if
if
you
that
have
makes
to
sense.
set up a fund ahead of time before
Cause-
the 506B or 506C.
Yeah, just to kind of, you're saying, hey, 506C you can post on Facebook, but how do I determine if I'm with the 506C versus raise
Your
from
attorney,
Your
your
attorney
attorney, all that up ahead of time. Your attorney says, "Hey, I want to do a 506C fund." He creates it, or I want to do a 506. Yeah, and you have to stick to that. There's no going back. After you have done it, after you've paid the attorney and set it up, you can't go, "Oh, I changed my mind and I want to do no, there's no doing that. You have to, your deal now has to be that, whatever it is. Yeah. Good question.
Nice. I don't see any more questions. Anybody have any more questions they want to pop into the questions and answers or chat?
If nobody's got any more questions, then we'll let you continue.
and go about your
Your
day.
day.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
showing up,
showing up.
everybody. We appreciate you guys. Y'all are awesome.
We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.